As it was set up in the year 2000 to sell the APIs of the company Sea-Lag. Sea-Lag, I think you probably all know, is part of Johnson & Johnson, and they decided they didn't want to be selling generic APIs, and they asked the owner of Azad to do this on their behalf. We also, later on in 2003, started developing our own APIs, working with the University of Zurich. And a very important step in the development of the company was in 2003, when we had a Chinese office, and then 2005 we had a good cooperation starting with the company Yongsun from Korea. And in 2007 we started developing our own API, own finished formulations. Going back a step in 2004, we were looking to expand in other markets, and I don't know who recognizes this picture I put down the bottom here. Okay, what is it? Which country is it in? It's in Russia. Yeah, it's the basilisk in Moscow. We'd already opened an office in China, and we were thinking, what should we do? We were thinking maybe we should open an office in Russia, right? But you know, why were we thinking this at all? This data dates from 2013. It shows that the market for the CIS is 38 billion, and if you look at that, the biggest part is Russia. So naturally you want to invest in Russia. Well, we decided differently, and maybe I'll explain why. And we also added in Iran, because Iran is also traditionally where a lot of Armenians are, and we added that into the market. I think the basic reason was Armenia is a country with the same Western values that we all treasure here in France or in Germany or Switzerland where we are, or in England. It's culturally very similar. Very important, we want to be paid, and we want to pay properly, and having a banking system that does that, well, if you've had to deal with some of these countries, you know that's not always the truth. Right? Good communication systems. Today with Skype, you can call everywhere. When we started, that wasn't the case, and this is one of the few countries where you could actually use the telephone and it worked. And hotels, infrastructure, and everything else was good. Most importantly, for Swiss citizens and for EU citizens, there's no visa. And if you go to the CIS countries, which I do very regularly, this is a little bit of a hassle that you don't need to have. So having no visa, I don't remember on the list Natalia presented, but if it wasn't, we should mention it next time. Most importantly, and there's a few Armenians here today, there's a couple of very talented people. And we have in our office in Yerevan, not only people who speak Armenian and Russian, but English and Farsi, or going to Iran and German. And I think the major consideration, and this is what Natalia pointed out, with the average salary, I think, of $400, it's competitive. You have good people at a good price. What else can you want? And I'm a very interested spectator of Transparency International, and if you look at most of the countries in the CIS, they're all around 144. Somehow Russia got down to 124, probably going back up to 144. 94 is in the middle, but it's a lot of time better than most of the CIS countries. I think only Georgia and maybe Moldova are better. And the customs union, which Armenia is assigned a letter of intent to join last year, that can only help the exports from Armenia to these countries. And if you remember the slide before, Russia is the biggest market with 75% of the pharmaceutical industry, or pharmaceutical sales. Kazakhstan is Ukraine is the next one, and then you have Kazakhstan and so on. Today, actually this slide is a bit out of date. We have 57 employees as of today. And Roman, you can remind me, you have another 16 about to be employed this month or next month. So We will have in total in the world over 70 people, and a good percentage of the people that will work for us are going to be in Yerevan. We also have our own subsidiary there, which is responsible for selling products within the market, which has another 7 people, which we don't include in the Azad sales. And I think where we're making the biggest expansion is in our laboratory. We want to develop our own APIs within Armenia, where we're going to use the very talented people who are very clever and can develop things we think much quicker, much better, and obviously much cheaper than we can do it in other countries. And the aim is to have our own pilot plant in the future in Yerevan. And we have some other strategic investments which we're planning, which can expand on that. So that was my short presentation. This is the practical point of view. If anybody has any questions, either before or afterwards, I'm pleased to answer them. And like everywhere, there's always some subtle details you have to know, because nothing is straightforward, not even in Armenia, sorry. And if you'd like to know some of the details, how to make it work, we'd be delighted to help you. And I have one wish from the organizers. If you could give your business card to Hasmik or one of the other ladies who's standing there, or have your badge scanned so that we know who was present here, we'd be very, very grateful. So, does anybody have any questions? If not, I'm going to pass on to the next speaker.